Everyone, welcome to today's video. Welcome to the Gamer Dad channel. Thank you so much for tuning in. So before I even jump into this video, I just want to go ahead and say a big thank you to those of you who've been supporting this channel for a long time. Every single input that you've added, every comment, every view, even if it's 20 seconds, every agreement or disagreement has helped to further the cause in which we have been able to discuss the division. We've been able to talk about relevant issues between both content creator and player in order for these things to be out there for the devs to note. In fact, this past year, we even at one point had one of the developers comment on our video when we were asking, where are the devs? You know, because I think a dev had left and we knew about it. And overall, there has been talk within Ubisoft that developers have been leaving. Now, something that is of note, and I heard this a few years ago, is developers leave and join studios and publishers all the time. It's nothing new, but there might be a much more significant influx going on right now that seems to be noteworthy. So I think that's what's going on. But so far, we've been successful enough to continue to discuss this game. I've been able to, just take some breaks, and you guys have taken some breaks, and I've returned to, covering the division. You guys have been here, and I really want to say I appreciate all of it, especially for those of you who've been here since maybe the beginning or close to the beginning. I really do appreciate you rocking with me this long. It's been about 4 years. Isn't that crazy? And so all of this has some sort of reflection that needs to be done. This year was a really dry year for the division. We barely got anything. In fact, all of the promises that were made, or I guess the expectations that were set, were not necessarily met. In fact, content pieces that we were expecting got pushed to February, then got pushed again to an indefinite time that we don't know. Now, it wasn't all disappointments, because we heard about a new Division game, a game being made in the Division universe called the Division Heartland, that's in development as well. So I guess it wasn't a total loss. There is something to be, in a sense, celebrated or expectant of when it comes to what this universe has to bring. Anything else, to me, seems like it's under wraps with Massive and the other studios that do work on this particular IP. The question now is, first of all, when this new content was announced, a lot of talk was going on around the community with other games that were coming out that seemed like they would choke the division, they would take away a lot of the player base. But lo and behold, it appears that those games did not necessarily meet a lot of what players were expecting. Battlefield 2042, or whatever the year the game is supposed to depict, was one of those games. It was a highly anticipated game that was supposed to compete in the shooter space, even though it's a different kind of shooter. It's a first person, kind of Warzone, whatever style game in a sense. It was still supposed to have players that moved from the division to play that game. But many they played for a while, but they're finding themselves strolling back into the division. In fact, you can see it from even some of the content creators who even at some point dabbled into the Battlefield side and eventually returned to the division, because there's just a lot more community building that this game already has. Many of us have established communities, clans, friends in this particular ecosystem. And, it's not normal for you to spend the amount of time in other games that you spend in this game with people that you eventually get to know their families, their kids. And in some cases, I remember I was a part of a group one time on PlayStation when some of the guys on the West Coast, they actually, they were traveling for a meeting, and they just linked up in the city that they were, which is crazy. Never had it happen before. And this was the first time, but it was from the Division 1. And I'm certain we've had those relationships also, in a sense, kind of form with this game. So I think more than anything, there's a relationship piece that goes with the division in terms of a community. Now, I can also argue that the developers may have pushed too hard for the community side with the raids and everything. But I guess we can just say, let's kind of see if we can kind of get people to a point where they can say, without the raids, you still are able to build a community. And if you decide you want to find a community that will help with raids, there are communities out there that are still dedicated and still wanting to help people in here. So that's also something really cool. But now that the dust has settled and we're looking at the lineup of games coming out next year, yes, there are some heavy hitters that might still take the attention of, division community agents. But in all, I think the only big contender is Destiny's 2. I think it's Witch Queen or something. They have a big expansion that's coming out. I think that might be the significant factor in terms of what content is going to really, really make for a big hit. Now, again, when the Destiny content drops, it's not going to provide infinite amounts of entertainment and play time. The dust is still going to settle. At that point, I don't know many games that would still take Division players away. And I think at that point, if Division players are still here, which I'm very shocked how many Division players I've encountered in the past few days, especially in the Dark Zone. And not just PC Dark Zone, PlayStation Dark Zone. They are everywhere. People literally, I walked into a stinking landmark, okay? I pulsed. There were like 7 people in there. Now, if all 7 of them were in a group, then I guess that's an explanation, but I've never seen a group of 7 that exist in a Division 2 Dark Zone server. Usually groups of 4, so it may have been a group of 4 and then a group of 3, but that is still a lot of people compared to a few months ago when I'd walk into the DZ and I wouldn't see anybody, and I think no one's playing this game. I matchmake for legendary missions, and then there are people just inviting you, and if somebody leaves, somebody else joins. It's like nothing happened. Now, yes, I get it. The older missions, like, the older parts of the game, you probably not find a lot of people. People are usually playing specific end game content pieces, but that's because people have already leveled up and found themselves in those areas, and they just want to enjoy those other aspects of the game. So I guess we have something to look forward to. And, if nothing is out there, then the other games serve to replace some of the time that the developers may be taking to develop Division content, wherever it is. And so I think that's something that, here in the community, we will continue to look out for. And I hope the developers are wise to do what they did with Striker and do it in actually a very interesting way where they can introduce these little changes, incremental in a sense, maybe transformative in some sense, that would actually have people have a little bit of interest. There are brand sets, there are named items that if they gave them a little bit of a tweak, they'll have an influx of people just coming in just to find that item, keep it in their stash, go away, so that they can use it in context of what the changes will be down the road. But I'll stop this video for now. I appreciate you guys so much. Let me get out of your hair. Happy New Year's. Looking forward to what 2022 brings. I hope it's a better year than 2020 and 2021 put together. God willing, we get to, just enjoy whatever the Division is going to be doing, whether it be Heartland or whether it be this game. All right. Talk to you guys later. Appreciate y'all. Peace out.